Hey everyone, thanks so much for following me and watching these videos. Today we're going to be looking at some more songwriting questions. I've loved being on tour the last week or so and talking to different ones of you about different things like songwriting and worship and all those sorts of things, and it's been great. And one of the guys who watched the video left me some questions and I want to answer those today. So here they are. The first question is this: how do I choose topic and theme for a song? It's a great question. Generally, I actually start by not trying to fit a certain theme, but as I start the writing process and start creating the melody or the lyrics, it becomes apparent that I'm focusing on one or two specific themes, and it's really important at that point to then refocus and think, well, actually, what is the one theme that I should be looking at? In fact, I think a big mistake is to try and cover loads and loads of themes all in one song. You want to narrow it down to just one theme in particular. But having said that, for about 25% of the time I write to a theme, and that's when it gets quite tricky for me because I find it a lot harder to do that and to really purposely write. Recently I was asked to write a song for our Breathe conference, our ladies conference at church, where we had 400 ladies come to an event, and the theme was brave. And so I wrote a song called Born to be Brave, but it wasn't the first song that I wrote for it. In fact, I wrote another one which wasn't the right sort of theme for that conference, and so I had to rewrite and think again about what is the specific message that I need to get across, and it was particularly to do with standing up, being seen, not hiding away, being brave, being vulnerable, being strong, and walking by faith. And so I tried to really use those few key words and phrases to really help shape the song, and it was really hard, and I didn't feel it was actually that good a song, but we put it out there and it actually got some amazing response. So writing to theme is good, but you have to kind of really be purposeful about it, and I'd suggest even setting a deadline of when you need to have it finished, and that deadline kind of pushes you to be able to write specifically. But if you're not trying to write to a certain theme, I'd encourage you to start by focusing on what God's been speaking to you about, or what you've been reading lately, or what's kind of inspired you, and that will help you a lot. The second question was about lyrics and how do we expand lyrics and develop lyrics in songs. Lyrics can be a really funny beast because sometimes they're really easy to put together and other times it's actually really hard. But I think lyric writing requires a huge amount of work and discipline to really push yourself beyond what is your natural vocabulary. So for me that means I have to read a lot. I have actually set myself a goal for the last few years to read a certain amount of books, and it grows every year because I want to read more and expand my kind of knowledge. So I've tried to read, this year it's 20 books, I'm on book 7 at the moment, and there are a variety of books with a variety of writing styles. Reading helps me kind of understand from an author's perspective how to write and how to kind of use various words that maybe I've never used before in songs. I also find it really helpful to kind of submit songs to other people from a lyric point of view, not from a music point of view. People who might be either theologians or they've got some good understanding of the Bible and could say, actually this is really dodgy theology, or this wouldn't work with the congregation because it's too vague or it's not clear enough in what you're trying to communicate. So all these sorts of things I find really helpful with lyric writing. I think the best thing is not being lazy and actually trying to push yourself to deliver more interesting, more specific lyrics for each part of the song. The final question is about collaborating with others in co-writes. I've had plenty of bad co-writing sessions, so I can talk about those if you like, but some of my best have actually not necessarily been with people in a room. I think you've got to look for people who've got similar heart to you, and that doesn't mean that they're necessarily the same generation as you, or the same, even having the same outlook on life, on all things, but you're trying to bring two different people from two different perspectives together to be able to write something unique. So I look for people with similar heart and attitude. So I wrote with my brother-in-law Mark, who is a drum and bass producer, and I really respect him musically. He's a great guy, and we get on well, and so it was a natural fit to kind of write with him, and we wrote the song together, Behold Our God, and it was actually his song to start with, and I loved the chorus, and we discussed whether the verses could change, and so he graciously let me rework the lyrics of the verses and the bridge, and we came up with what it is today. But it was several emails going backwards and forwards, and probably 6 months of me trying to write and rewrite and write again the lyrics to that song until they felt like they were right with the melody. Another co-write was with my producer Dave George with the song Spirit is Life, and I felt the song was incomplete when we were going in the pre-production stage, and so we tried it again and again and again, and finally he suggested, well, rather than trying to rework the chorus, which was always what I was trying to do, he said, why don't you instead add a tag? And he just started singing a few different ideas out, and we landed on I'm coming alive, your spirit is love, your spirit is life. And that was just one of those moments in the pre-prod kind of phase where we were able to kind of land on something together that really just made the song just have that extra little kick at the end of it. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear any more questions that you might have, so please leave them in the comment box below, and we'll send another video out soon.